Hello, everybody. It is me, Briskatuzi, and today we're here talking about the Rising of the Shield Hero, episode 21. Okay, so this episode started with a dream sequence. It showed Naofumi and his party at a random location, and I have absolutely no idea where he was. There was a boat, like a broken boat, or maybe it was like just maybe it was a normal regular boat, and then it showed like a flag. No idea where he was. Could just showed broken ruins and stuff like that. Like I sort of think that I know where he is, but at the same time, it could happen way in the future rather than the future that I know. After that, we saw that apparently he got recovered, and it was totally obvious that he was going to recover because he wouldn't have died from that. But the Pope apparently died. That he said that apparently the blood sacrifice has to destroy his body and the opponent's body, or maybe that's just an assumption that he made. But that's probably what happened. We saw him with bandages all over himself, and it took him a month to recover. Wow, a month. That's a very long recovery. Like I guess that he didn't wake up during the whole entire time, so he was asleep for a whole month while they had to like change his bandages and then gave him like I guess like they probably soaked his bandages in the holy water too. And then apparently he said that apparently the curse was on him still, but it didn't work on Raftalia and the rest of them, or it didn't like get to them to a super degree because Naofumi figured that the protection thing that Vittoria put on his shield worked on them. So I guess they didn't get a severe degree like he did, even though that we didn't see him with it that much. But that we saw the queen go into his room and they were discussing. She was like discussing with him about what she was gonna do and stuff like that, and introduce herself. It was cute seeing Melty being like very like professional in front of her mom, the queen. But then but then she tries to like. But then when she talks to Naofumi, she goes a little bit back to the way that we know her as. And one thing that the queen said to Naofumi when she was talking about what the heroes were supposed to be like is something that someone commented to me like a few weeks ago. And like man, like the way that the person commented was exactly the way that the queen delivered it to Naofumi in this episode, where they said how all of the heroes are supposed to be at different countries. I guess that makes sense because like I think that they mentioned that if when all the heroes are together, they don't work as well together. Like when they're all together, like their powers don't work as much, or like they can't level up when they're near again when they're near each other. So I guess that if they got sent to to a different country each, then those four it would only be four countries, and the surrounding areas would have heroes to like protect themselves against the waves, because Vittoria did say that every single other country has a place to protect, so that makes a lot more sense, and that plan probably would have worked. But then they said how like the king and stuff like that, and like the Three Heroes Church wanted to like monopolize on the heroes and have them all for themselves, when the queen had like a plan to like visit each country and like do everything herself, being very diplomatic and stuff like that, and trying to get things prepared. But then of course the king and like the three churches had to be dumbasses, which I guess that works for them because they got what came to them. And then we saw how apparently after this, the queen said that she was going to compensate Naofumi by giving him lots of money, and then tell the people of the country like tell him like give him good graces and stuff like that, and saying how she was going to like lock up the king and mine son. And it's weird how he had a dream after this. He had a dream right before the 9 minute mark where like he saw like the the king and mine son getting like their heads sliced off in like a dream sequence of him like seeing their execution, and then he's like being worried for them, so like that, and he like wakes up in like a cold sweat. So I guess I guess it shows that he's someone of good character because he feels bad for them even though that he shouldn't. So then I guess like we're gonna see him do something different. Maybe he's gonna stop their execution, or maybe the queen will order for it, but then the Fumi will stop it or something like that. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So far, it's really intriguing, and we saw how Raftalia was a little bit worried for him after he had that dream of the execution, and he said that there was nothing about it. We also saw the queen doing something in her room with like a cupboard, and I have no idea what was going on there. But other than that, I'll be back in a few minutes to read the rest of this. Okay, I am back, and I just watched from about 9 minutes to about 15 minutes, and just wow. Man, that trial with Mine Son and the King was just insane. This is going to be a very quick part of my review, but man, the queen is just savage. But it's weird how during the whole entire time you can just tell that Naofumi, because he thinks that they're gonna get beheaded and get like the guillotine on them. Naofumi is like very scared about this happening, and his heart isn't in it. Like it's really weird seeing him not be like not feel good about them like getting this, because like when we watch this, we're just like, she deserves this. Mine Son and the King deserve this. But it's weird how the king, like, he's telling the truth no matter what. Like his slave collar hasn't gone off at all, because like just like I said, the queen is savage. She put slave crest on them so that way they could never tell a lie. So that way any request that they ask, they do. Because we've seen it before in past episodes, and we saw the purple lightning, and then like Mine Mine's like having like little seizures and she's like falling over and stuff like that, and she has to get back up. We also saw the king finding out about Mine and figuring out like what's going on behind her back. Like he's just like, what? She tried to kill the daughter that I love, because like we saw a few episodes back that the king like really liked Melty son instead of Mine son like a lot. Then after that, we saw how the sword hero and bow hero were able to believe Naofumi, and were able to believe that Mine son committed the act of trying to like kill Melty. After that, we saw how the spear hero didn't believe it at all, and then he's just like, "How about I put the save crest on her?" Or actually, the queen suggested it, and then he also just suggested it because he wanted to figure out the truth. He did the slave crest with her. Then he asked her, and then she's just like, "No way, I definitely didn't do anything to the shield hero." And then she ends up just like almost passing out from lying to the spear hero, and the spear hero's just face is just shocked. And we also saw how in like the town center they weren't allowing anybody in the trial. We even saw them putting up stands for the trial. We saw how people, especially like the other heroes' party members, weren't allowed inside the castle. So then all the townspeople and stuff like that had to be outside the castle in like the castle square. And then they had those visualizers on like the screen of like them seeing like cameras of them watching the scene from outside, and they're watching it happening. We saw how they're just like wow, the people in the king and the second princess really tried really hard, or I guess the first princess tried really hard to like overthrow like the kingdom and try to like defame the shit here. Like they're just like, wow, they like worked really hard. All the townspeople are just like that. But so far, that's where I'm at right now. So we're gonna see what happens right now. And Naofumi is like being very wavering, which is understandable because we can see that he's a good guy. Two things I forgot to mention is after that 9-minute mark, we saw a green-haired girl. I know her from the future, and then we also saw how Raftalia and everyone else were very glad that Naofumi was gonna name like recognized. But then you could tell that Naofumi didn't give a shit because he's not excited at all when the rest of them were excited. You could just tell that he was okay with being defamed for the rest of his life, which is kind of cool in itself. But yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes for the rest of the episode. Okay, we are here at the ending of this episode now. I have one big thing to just mention. Does the shield hero, or does like Naofumi himself just have like, this is the anime doing this, but does Naofumi have the ability to just see the future? Like literally the whole, like every single event, like I know that they were just using like pre-rendered footage for maybe for like the dream that he was having, maybe like probably, but like it makes him see like he could see the future, because like he did it like in the starting of the first episode when they showed him in the real world going to this fantasy world. He had a dream of him being a hero. Then he became a hero when he got summoned there. And then like I'm pretty sure that he had a dream before, and this is his second. This is his third dream, maybe just his second dream of something happening like this. Like how? It just makes sense. Like that whole entire like session of like after they got sentenced to die, just like his dream. Then we saw them at the guillotine. They had their heads locked in, and then like we saw later on, we found out that apparently the queen was gonna like offer up her life to like to have the shield hero save them, but instead Naofumi, like the whole entire time, he was feeling bad for them, and it was like we saw how it was really weird. It was really funny. Mine was begging for her life and was begging for Moyatu, the spear hero, to save her, but then he looked away, like even like right now, like he's still like I'm pretty sure that even like in further in the manga he still cares about Mind Son. And seeing him look away, like seeing him just look away, like dude, like I've never seen him do like act that way towards her. We even saw later on, like right after Naofumi like saved them and stuff like that, they were okay with him. Like what happened to them having a tense relationship? I guess it's gonna change like after they like they're in like very like they're not trying to kill each other, but they're still gonna have a bad relationship. But like just in this like small moment after like when they were celebrating, total just bros. They're exactly the way that they were when they were in the first episode. Like it's like nothing even happened because of their like their damaged brains of them like being like, the way that they are. So we saw Naofumi, because he felt really bad, he decided to save them. He decided to put on a very flamboyant personality like he usually does, and like he like went into like the area where they were being executed, and he like told them to like hold up the situation. The queen was shocked, and then he said that them dying because Mind Son also tried to beg for Naofumi's life, but then Naofumi's just like, damn, like his like he was probably like he was about to save them, but then once he saw Mind Son try to like beg for her life, like he's just like, dude, you're like making me not want to do this. Probably that's probably what he was thinking. So then he like stopped the execution, and then he said that them dying was too easy, which I guess is true. when a bad guy is about to die, it usually is too easy. You just want them to suffer and stuff like that. So then he says that Queen suggests that they should be removed of their royal status and everything, and that they'll just be common folk. And then Naofumi says we should also change their name. So then he changes the king's name to Trash. His name was just Trash, which is true. But I really want to know what exactly happened to him in his past that made him hate the Shield Hero. Did his whole family get killed by the previous Shield Hero, or did something happen? Because I really want to know. Or did the church just convert him? Maybe I need to rewatch the episode because I don't really see an explanation anywhere. Did they say that he just hates him for some reason? He named I was like, I'm pretty sure I said this in my first review because I already knew this stuff. But my son got named Bitch, and then her adventurer name, because her name is Malty, but then her adventure name is Mine. Instead of her name being Mine, her name is now Slut. So, and I'm pretty sure that they did show it this episode. They might show it next episode, but I'm pretty sure that in the future, Moyatsu tried to say her name because they're on a good relationship, Spear Hero and her. So then he like tries to say her name, but then I'm pretty sure it was supposed to happen this episode. The queen or like one of the knights is just like, hey, that's against the rules. You need to say her name. So he like tries to say it very like hesitantly. So he calls her like bitch, and then she like gets so angry at him, which is pretty funny. If they showed that scene at all in the future, it would be pretty funny. But yeah, episode 22, 3 to 4, 25, 4 episodes left. Pretty sure it's 25 episodes, but yeah, after that we saw them celebrating, and we saw how I really like this line. Like the queen and all the other heroes went up to Naofumi and was asking him why he was leaving because he started to like leave the celebration, and then the queen ended up saying that instead of the church being called the 3 heroes, they're going to change it to the 4 heroes, which I guess is nice. And then we saw them. The queen was asking for Naofumi's health again, and then Naofumi said that. He said, "I'm not just going to help this country. I'm going to help all around the world." And then, like the queen and everyone, all the other heroes are like, their eyes are lighting up. They're just like, "Naofumi, you're such a nice dude." And then, like, which is, I guess, is true. He just wants to help all over the place now. After also meeting Vittoria, because she like set that straight in his mind, especially with like her almost killing them all during that little trial that she did for Philo. And then we saw Naofumi just like leave with all of his followers from that village, and the knights, and also that knight that was very reluctant before with the scar on his face. I'm pretty sure was helping out Naofumi too. And then he walked away with the queen and Melty being very thankful towards him. We saw Melty like cry and say thank you to Naofumi for saving her dad and her sister. And yeah, this episode ended with him just walking away with Philo and Natalia to the next adventure, and the uplifting music was pretty good. But yeah, this episode overall was a pretty good conclusion. So then we'll just have 5 episodes of just the continuation of the story. So 22 episodes so far, pretty awesome. The next episode is called The 4 Heroes Council. No idea what that's gonna. I have no idea what that means. But yeah. If you enjoyed this review / my thoughts, my opinions on this episode, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy this whatsoever, leave a dislike. This video might be too long right now, so yeah, I'll see you in the next video next week or any other videos that I might make. And yeah, bye. See you later.